This is the Real Change Wilmington podcast, episode 24, inside Clinton County Farmers Market with our guest today, Sally Buchanan.
It's a passion to see these kids come to the market and want to come to the market. It's a passion when I see kids growing up and still wanting to come to the market when they're 12 and 13 and 14. And to know that maybe we're making a difference in somebody's life.
What is going on, everyone? This is your host of the Real Change Wilmington podcast, Dustin Pierce.
I'm Emily Spencer, the co-host.
And we have a fun episode for you guys today about one of the coolest things in Clinton County, the farmers market. So both Emily and I go to the farmers market pretty much every week. So Emily, what is one of your favorite things to get there?
Well, there is a man and his wife who make bread every week, and I like to get their challahs and their baguettes and make French toast and sandwiches with that. And I really like the pottery people. I just think the hands throwing pottery is pretty cool. What about you?
Nice. Do you ever buy pottery?
No.
Just like...
It's expensive.
Just
I'm
a
poor.
Window shop. One of my favorite things is definitely the Amish booth. Like all of their like vegetables and stuff, and the dessert pies, the fruit pies, whatever they're called.
Oh, the hand pies?
The hand pies, so good every week. They have strawberries sometimes, and then I get meat at the Walnut Ridge, I think, right?
Yeah, the pork place.
Yeah, Super good, super friendly people, so love it. This is a great podcast. I really enjoy talking to Sally, learning about her story and just her passion for making fresh local fruits accessible to people, educating the community on how food is grown, and just helping people, I say accessible a lot, but helping people access healthy food. So whether you're a child or a family who's on assistance, or someone who is a senior who can't get to the market, but she provides transportation and stuff like that once a month and has a bunch of different programs that she'll talk about. But I just really loved her passion, and it was kind of tear-jerking at the end when she shared some of that. So without further ado, we'll jump into today's podcast. Sally Buchanan, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
Excited that you're here. Yeah, awesome. So we like to start these things off with just getting to know you a little bit. So tell us about who you are.
Well, I have been a resident of Clinton County since I was a little girl, and grew up in the New Burlington area. Went to Clinton Massey, and then off to nursing school, graduated, and then ended up back in Wilmington working at Clinton Memorial Hospital for almost 30 years.
Okay.
So I've been raised on a farm, gardened, was in 4-H, and just had deep roots in agriculture.
So you're from New Burlington?
From the New Burlington area, where Caesars Creek is now.
Okay.
That area, our farm was actually one of the last farms that was taken. And if you went down Center Road toward the campground, our property was on Center and then across Mound Road. So we watched all of that happen in the early 70s as the lake was being developed and land was being acquired.
And then you worked for, you said CMH?
Yes.
What did you do there?
Clinton Memorial Hospital as a nurse. I had many jobs. My last position there was quality management director, and we were responsible for safety, both patient and environmental safety. We had risk management. We had customer service, infection control, utilization review besides the quality component. It was a department that had many different responsibilities that didn't really fit into a clinical setting, but was more of the compliance. We did Joint Commission preparation. Joint Commission is the organization that accredits healthcare facilities. And so that was what I was doing when I left.
And you have a few kids. I know
3 children.
Okay.
3 girls. Our oldest is Renee, living in Cincinnati. Our middle daughter is Desi Rogers, who's here in Wilmington and is the executive director of the chamber. And then Emma is our youngest, and she returned to Clinton County from California about 3 years ago, and she and her husband are getting ready to open the Lumberton General Store there on 68.
When will that open? Is there a date yet?
Gosh, no specific date as such, but they're working very hard and have been working very hard to get it open.
People should go check it out.
They should go check it out. It's a good country type restaurant. There's a lot of memories around the Lumberton restaurant.
Yeah. And then how did you get involved with the farmers market?
Well, my daughter Desi came back from Wales after getting her master's, and that was 2008. And at the time, of course, that was when DHL left. Energize Clinton County came to be with Mark and Taylor. And Desi became a AmeriCorps volunteer through Wilmington College. And their program was called Grow Food, Grow Hope. And she was one of the volunteers that was given the assignment of, I hate to say formalize, but sort of organize the farmers market more than it had been in the past. The market has actually been around since 1999. It started under Clinton County Master Gardeners and Tony Nye. And at that point, Tony was saying in 2008 he was ready to turn it over to someone else. And he did turn it over to Energize Clinton County. It went under their umbrella. And Desi, because of working on getting policies and procedures and making it more formalized, then became the manager. And she did that job for 7 years. During that time, I went in and helped her as a volunteer. We did some cooking demonstrations, or I would just help her at the table. When she resigned, Becca Muchmore Wall took over the job in 2016. And again, I continued helping volunteer and helping Becca with different activities, kids' activities. And then Becca decided she needed to do something else as she was graduating from Wilmington College and going on with her career. And so in 2017, Katie Stucker and myself were asked to be co-managers. And that's the rest of the story.
Very cool. So you said the farmers market got, in some ways, acquired by Energize Clinton County.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us more about what that looked like?
I think it was just at a point, and of course that was before my time, but as I said, Tony was really at the point of wanting to step away from it. He was very busy with his job, and it was an opportunity with Energize Clinton County for them to take on that role of overseeing the farmers market. So the farmers market is a 501c. It's nonprofit. It gets some support from Energize Clinton County, but we really rely on a lot of sponsorship from the community. So if you would look at it, if some of our paperwork that we have to send out to the state to be involved in different programs, it's Energize Clinton County doing business as Clinton County Farmers Market. So we are under that umbrella.
Okay.
There is a board, ECC board, and there is an advisory committee that helps me with things like rules and regs, or if we have questions, if we're looking at, sponsorship or different programs, they help advise me on that. So this actually is my 7th year of being manager or being involved with the market officially. I do have an assistant manager this year, Chloe Mason. She's a recent Wilmington College grad, grew up on a farm, Clinton County, in all of her life, and excited to have her. Emma, my youngest daughter, was assistant manager last year, and that was fun working with her. So having an assistant is very important, very important.
What did you do when you were in 4-H?
When I was in 4-H, I did cooking, which I'm not sure why, because my mother was a wonderful cook and had taught me to cook, but it was the thing to do. So I was in cooking. Mrs. Collett and Mrs. Harvey was my advisors over in Kingman. And then I showed cattle and hogs.
You showed cattle and hogs, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep.
Very cool.
Many years ago.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Did you ever have to slaughter any of the...
Yes, you
pigs
sold
and hogs?
them and you walked them away.
Oh, yeah.
They were taken away.
But did you physically do it? Oh, okay. You never done that?
No, but growing up on the farm, my dad butchered.
Okay.
And so there was the butchered hogs, he butchered beef, my mother, the chickens. So, part of farm life is life and death. And
Yeah.
you go into 4-H and realize that, the animal was going to be sold. Now, it may be different now, but then if you showed an animal, it was sold.
Do you ever miss farm life?
My husband and I have a farm.
Okay.
We have about 40 plus acres, and I get to do some things. I garden a lot, but my brother farms actually the property. He's a grain farmer there. So farmers are hardworking people. They are the soul of this country, and I admire them greatly. And I guess my answer is yes and no. I mean, knowing how hard they work, I really admire them. But I married a husband who is, or a guy who's not a farmer, so it would have been very rough for us to go into farming.
Yeah. Yikes. Well, it's cool you can still keep your family's farm, though, and do some gardening every once in a while.
Yes, we garden.
Nice.
Emma likes to garden. Renee likes to garden. That's our oldest. Dussie's not so much a gardener, but the other two are good gardeners, and it's good to feel the dirt in your hands.
Yeah. Do you sell anything at the farmer's market?
No, I just purely am the manager.
Okay. Have you ever sold anything there?
No.
Okay.
No. Everything we produce, we use or give away.
Okay.
Share with others.
Yeah. The farmer's market has changed locations a few times over the years. Where did it start at?
In the beginning, it was located out in front of what's now Job and Family Services. Some folks listening might have known it as the old Kmart building. It's out there on 68, kind of across from Broush's, that area. It was also one time at the extension agent office out on Nelson. And then it was in 2008 where it was moved to downtown. And for, in the very beginning, during the winter months, it was at Swindler's Garden Center. And I can remember it being very cold there a few days. And, but these vendors were very brave, and they tolerated some very cold temperatures. Eventually, it was moved to the mural, the parking lot between the General Denver and the next building. Then it outgrew the space. And what actually happened, there was going to be I believe it was a Friday night event where they were having music at the mural. And so the market had to move. And this was during Desi's time. And they moved out onto Mulberry Street. And the vendors really liked it. There was a lot more space. And what was really good was that it became much more visible to those who were traveling on Main Street. And they would stop at the stoplight and see the tent set up. And then suddenly it was like, what's going on? And they'd come back and check us out. So we were there until 2022. And then the market moved from Mulberry Street down to the courthouse. And the commissioners have been very gracious to allow us to use the parking lot there at corner of Walnut and Sugar Tree.
Nice.
So we will be there again this year.
What's the mission and the goals of the farmer's market? You have it written down.
And I'm going to read this to you just because it will be better than me trying to memorize it. But the mission of the Clinton County Farmers Market is to provide locally grown produce and products that are of high quality and affordable to all members of the community in Clinton County in an enjoyable and welcoming atmosphere. And I think that part about it being affordable to all community members is very important. And our goals.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's separate than the goals. Yes, oh, you have goals too? Goals. Okay. So
one thing, because again, if you think back to 2008 when things, DHL had left and there were issues, this gives an opportunity for local farmers, gardeners, to have a place to sell their products directly to the customers. They come together in one location and can sell their product. It can increase the opportunity for the consumer or the citizens of Clinton County and surrounding areas to have access to our local products, again, in one spot, rather than maybe having to drive around and finding a farm stand or somebody having a sign out at the end of their driveway. It also gives opportunity for local artists to offer their work. Mm-hmm. They may have these homegrown paintings and needlework, etc. But again, gives them an opportunity to come together and offer it all in one location. The other thing that I think is very important, it brings together families and neighbors and visitors to the county and to Wilmington the opportunity to create a sense of community and social gathering. And that's what we're hearing. We did a survey last year at the market, and comments were, which we're very proud of, this is the best event in Wilmington, that it was the best way to start the weekend. And I have parents coming up and saying, the kids woke up this morning and said, it's Saturday, we've got to go to the market. So it has become that location for us to really bring community together. And then we want to make it a place that's a destination, not only for locals, but those who might be visiting, such as those who are camping out at Cowan or any of the other campgrounds. They may be visiting for a wedding or a reunion. It's a place for them to come. We get a lot of folks who come even for the reunion, high school reunions that are back in town. Wilmington College last year, when they had one of their reunions, we had folks stopping into the market. And it's also a way that we want to educate the community. It's not just a place to sell products, but it's a place to offer education about nutrition, about the environment, and also just about learning about farming and the sustainability. So those are our goals. We want it to be a community effort, place that people want to come, meet their neighbors, purchase good locally grown produce that's not sat on a truck for 2 weeks getting here from wherever it might be coming.
Yeah, and you do have a few booths that have like educational displays. I know the bee booth has like the different hive setups and educate the community on how that all works and stuff. BYO Honey Farm is very good about educating. He's just great about bringing that display and talking to anyone about the importance of bees and about his product. And then throughout the summer, we try to have other educational booths, or we invite different agencies, such as May 20th, we'll be having Clinton County Solid Waste Management coming in and talking about recycling in the county. That was introduced last year with some changes that came in, but there's still some questions about what can I recycle for the county. So they're going to be back on the 20th. There was some talk at City Council last week about the option of getting rid of recycling in the community.
Oh dear.
I guess it's getting expensive or something, and the benefit of it there, because it's not something that we do in county, I guess, or in cities. So we have to outsource that all to, like, I think Rumpke, is that who it is? Or Waste Management, you said?
Well, the Clinton County Soil and Waste Management are the ones that oversee that, I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
They're the ones, especially for the county, who are saying this is what you can recycle. And it's really an educational piece of what can you recycle and what can't you recycle. Because I think one of the problems with recycling is people start throwing all kinds of, quote, trash into the recycling bins, and then that really makes it difficult for those who are sorting it or who are trying to recycle that product.
Is it true you have to wash your stuff out before you recycle it?
I'm not the expert on that. At home.
You're supposed to.
But is that like you're supposed to because it's nice, or you have to do it? Like,
I think they encourage you to do it, and I was going to say
highly encouraged.
Yes. Okay.
I like to rinse my things out because of the bin that I'm putting it in.
Yeah.
I don't want to attract the flies and the varmints.
Yeah.
So, and also then you think about who's handling those items.
Sure.
So I think out of respect, you do that. I know that some of the instructions are for the bottles. Like if I
heard that, yeah.
You put the lid back on.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, if there's liquid in there. So, but the experts will be at the market on May 20th, and that would be a good person to ask your questions.
Are they going to be back there again? Because I don't think this podcast will be live by May 20th, but it might be. No, it definitely won't be.
No,
we'll post it on Facebook to remind people to get educated.
Yes, I think she will be back again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about her being there twice this year.
So what are some of the different vendors at the market?
We have a variety of vendors. To be a vendor at the market, you have to be a resident of Clinton County or one of the counties that touches Clinton County. So that could be Greene, Warren, a little bit of Claremont County, Highland, Fayette, Brown. So anything that would touch the boundary of Clinton County. So we have two meat vendors, Bank Barn Meats. That's Stephen and Rachel. They have wonderful beef and lamb cuts that are raised on their property. Our other meat vendor is Walnut Ridge Acres. That's Bob and Becky, and they have a variety of pork cuts and that are really, really good. I really like their brats. They're very tasty. And they also have seasonal fresh vegetables. We have Emerald Gardens out of New Vienna, and Melanie grows herbs. She has a variety of herbs, both dried and fresh. And then she does homemade dog biscuits. And we have a lot of folks who their dogs really enjoy Melanie's dog biscuits. Get it out there.
I like buying like artisan dog biscuits like that and giving them to my friends as like an actual cookie and watching them eat it.
And it will
It's
be
really
fine.
funny. Oh, okay.
Don't take cookies from them.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in on Monday and I got you some cookies.
No, Melanie's not going to be there until the first market in June because
Okay.
she's a school teacher and she wants to finish up with school. We have another group this would be their third year, and that's Strawberry Run out of Clarksville. That's a father, daughter, and son team, and they're doing strawberries. Last year was their first year for strawberries. This year, they're hoping to have blueberries and then other fresh vegetables. They probably will not start again until the late part of May. We allow the vendors to enter the market when their product's ready. You know, there's no sense for them to show up and have an empty vehicle. So if we know somebody's, like our sweet corn vendor, Garland's out of Washington Courthouse, he's not going to be there until July, August, depending on this growing season. So when you come to the market, you're not going to find the sweet corn and the tomatoes, etc., because we're very seasonal. It's all grown locally. We have our organic farmer is the Henson Family Farm. That's Bob and Mindy. They have wonderful vegetables that they bring to the market. Wonderful cookies from Mama Llama Cookies, and she's from Clarksville. She's going to start the second Saturday in the month because I believe there's a graduation that she'll be attending. We have the McCormick Workhorse Farm, and if you've not been to Nancy and Mike's farm, they farm with horses. That's why it's called the Workhorse.
Is that the McCoy Center too?
That's McCoy's. Nancy McCoy, we're out at the college.
But she has the event center, right? Or no? Different McCoy?
Different McCoy.
Okay.
Both of Nancy and Mike are pastors, the Quaker Church out at Chester and Springfield. They have a variety of baked goods and seasonal fresh vegetables, and their daughter Tess brings soap and jewelry and candles. Ogden Acres, Wilmington address, they have wonderful baked goods. That's Jeff and Beverly, and wonderful, wonderful baked goods. And they also have roasted coffee beans. Beverly is a very talented artist, and so she has some of her artwork. And they also have honey. Testarossa Farms. This is our mother and son team, Tawny and Brian. They have fresh bouquets of flowers that are just lovely the entire season. And Brian makes the pottery. And I always use Brian as my example of that at the market, everything is local. Brian actually digs the clay from their farm in Blanchester and processes it there on the farm, makes his pottery, fires it, and it is very, very nice pottery. And they also have some seasonal fresh vegetables. We have Simon and Katie from Greenfield. They'll be back for the second year, and they have lovely fresh vegetables and baked goods. I've mentioned Bee Wild Honey Farm, and they are our main honey vendor. That's all that he carries is the honey and bee products. I mentioned Garland Farm with his sweet corn out of Washington Courthouse. We have two new vendors this year. Perry at Lundy with PL Designs will be having fresh flower bouquets and some jewelry. And then we have a mother-daughter team, Summer Color and Flavor. And that is Amber and Gloria. Gloria's going to be offering face painting, and Amber is going to be doing baked goods and candies. And we are always welcoming new vendors. As I said, they don't have to start at the beginning. I have a conversation this afternoon with a vendor who's interested in maybe bringing sweet corn. So he won't be starting until later in the summer. and he'll be one of our new vendors, hopefully.
And we talked about possibly having my chickens at the farmer's market.
Yes,
Chicken day.
We always like to have folks come and with our special events.
Mm-hmm.
And we always have Kids Corner, which is a kids activity where they'll do a craft. And we'd like to have them have the opportunity to, a couple years ago, we had baby pigs, and they were just thrilled to get to see those baby pigs. So yes, we're going to work on getting you and your chickens
right
to the
on
market for the day.
So what's your favorite vendor? What
I
can you
don't have a
not say?
I love all my vendors. Every one of them is special.
What do you buy the most when you're at the farmer's market?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Spoken like a true politician.
Oh, gets their paycheck
No.
on Friday and says, guess this whole thing's going to go into the farmer's market.
My vendors know I try to buy something from every one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't buy it every week, but I will buy from all my vendors.
Emily, what's your most frequent purchased vendor, or what do you shop at most at the farmer's market?
It's probably a tie between Be Wild, because my husband really likes their honey and I really like their soap. And
They have chapstick too.
Yeah, they have chapstick.
Nice.
I have to look here. I do like Walnut Ridge. Their brats, 10 out of 10. But I like the guy, the baker who has the sourdough breads.
Oh, Ogden Acres.
Ogden Acres. We always get a loaf of sourdough for the week. So.
And I can say there are customers who do truly have their favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And so they will be there, like with Ogden Acres. You only can bake so much. They're not commercial bakers. And so folks will arrive early because they want their sourdough bread, and can be disappointed if they're either not there because they have a commitment, or, they're already out. So
Yeah.
That's what I learned last year with Walnut Ridge. We got there the last week that they had brats, and then he was like, I'm out. So you get there early, and you get there early in the season to get what you want.
yeah, unfortunately with the meat vendors, since COVID, there has been a wait list for butchering. And back in 2020, there was like a year and a half to get on the list to have your animal butchered. That's getting better, but still, when you have animals that you're feeding out, you're growing, you can only, there's only so many going to the butcher at a time. You may take 2 pigs, or you may take 2 cows, and then it takes time to process that, not only butcher it, hang it, and then do the cutting. And so it's not like you can just take it in and next day go and get it.
Yeah.
It can be a while. So, when they say they're out, it's not because they're not planning ahead. They're planning ahead, but it's just the process takes a while. And there are certain products that are very popular. Ground beef, especially with like bank barns. A lot of people like their ground beef, so they'll sell all of that very quickly.
My favorite vendor is definitely the Amish booth. They have so much stuff, and they have the pastries.
Mm-hmm.
Great. They're great.
Yeah, they'll be back this year. I'm very happy.
Nice.
Very
So,
happy.
speaking of animals at the farmer's market, are we allowed to bring our pets to the farmer's market? We got a dog. We were talking about walking her to the farmer's market.
Yeah, we don't mind dogs being at the market as long as they're on leash and that they're well behaved. We had a situation probably 3 or 4 years ago where someone brought a larger dog and there was another large dog, and we were...
People that don't put their dogs on a leash, the worst people.
Well,
Keep our dog on a
I
short
think
leash.
everybody brings them on a leash, but sometimes they haven't been socialized enough, or 2 dogs see each other and they just don't like each other, and it was a situation that could have gotten out of hand. And we have lots of children
Yeah.
coming to the market, so I'm always concerned that kids want to come up and pet the dog. So that we won't say no dogs, but we just want to make sure people are bringing dogs that are well socialized, or that aren't going to be a problem
Yeah. So we talked
for
about
their own safety.
Sure. So vendors, what events do you have coming up this season?
Well, we are constantly every day working on organizing some events, and
So every weekend, do you have a music performance?
we certainly try to.
Yeah.
if we can find folks to come and play, I have a few openings, but I'm always asking if anybody knows someone who'd like to play at the market. We don't pay them, but they can put out their tip jar, and they do very well. We have very generous customers, and the vendors enjoy the music as well. On the 20th, we'll have live music with Dennis Allen. He's been coming to the market now for about 3 years. The coffee truck will be back, and Erin Hartsock, who's the outreach specialist with solid waste management, will be there talking about recycling. And she's going to have a game called the Spin the Wheel, where you're going to learn about recycling and maybe win a prize. So there's your opportunity.
Do you have to kiss somebody? You spin the, is it spin the bottle or?
No, not spin the bottle, spin the wheel.
But it's recycling though. Oh, you're right. You're right. I just imagine recycling a bottle
if
and spinning it.
If I see you over on the street spinning the bottle, I know what you're up to.
Oh my gosh.
And then we'll have a free take-home craft for the kids, which will probably be focused around recycling using things that you could recycle. So other events will be occurring in the summer months, and you can find out more information on our social media, Facebook, or emails.
Nice. So now let's get into accessibility, kind of where your heart and passion is, it seems like. So making the things more accessible for people in the community. So you have a couple different programs for kids, younger kids, people who are part of the WIC and SNAP programs, and then seniors. So give us an overview about those different programs.
In 2014, Clinton County Health Department and Clinton Memorial Hospital did a health assessment, and it was identified at that time that not all citizens had access to fresh fruits and vegetables. And so when Katie had a background in food poverty and mine in healthcare as a nurse, we put our heads together and wrote a grant to Health First for our special programming to focus on vulnerable citizens of Clinton County. We focused on 3 areas. One, families and adults that are on food assistance. Our second one was on children. And our third were on vulnerable seniors living in low-income housing where they had subsidized housing, and thus they did not get much as far as food assistance. So this is our 7th year to be able to offer those programs. Of our kids club is for children ages 4 through 12. They come, they sign up free, they get a little membership card, and they get $3 of special tokens to buy fresh fruits and vegetables. And we want to teach them about, number 1, eating fresh fruits and vegetables. Number 2, more about farmers and where does their food come from. And also there's some math skills in there. I got $3. What can I buy with $3?
And that's open to any kid?
That's open to any child ages 4 through 12. We also are Double Your Bucks program for food assistance, SNAP, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. We offer a Double Your Bucks program so that if the SNAP recipient comes in and uses their benefits at the market, they come to the market booth, use their benefits, we will double up that amount to $10 each time they come to the market. So let's say they want to use $15 of their benefits, we'll double it up to $10. If they want to use $8, we'll double it up to $8. And they can do that each time they come to the market.
So people on those programs have like a card that they use?
Yes, they have a card. It kind of looks like a credit card that we have an electronic or a wireless transaction machine that we're able to scan that in. And then the state tells us whether or not there's adequate funds. And then if there are, we can dispense our special tokens to those.
So you charge the card and then you give them coins to use at the market. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then our third area that I mentioned were the elders or the seniors. And that's open to some of our low income housing in the county. In Wilmington, it's the Prairie Oak Village. In Blanchester, it's Westminster Court. And we're going to be adding one community at Community Action. So again, we know these individuals have limited income, limited access. Working with Wilmington Transit, we are able to provide transportation, and through our grant, we're able to provide free transportation to those individuals. And those individuals are 55 and up, but they have to live at those 3 complexes. Now, what about the other seniors in the community? We have started in 2021 participating with the Council on Aging Senior Farm Market Program, voucher program. We had to sign up with them, and seniors who are age 60, live in Clinton County, and meet the income level can get $50 of vouchers to spend over a market season. If there are individuals who've not heard about this program, they can contact Council on Aging in Cincinnati, stop in at the booth, and I have information that I can share with them.
So they could get that voucher that same day, or?
They would have to apply through Council on Aging. I will
Okay.
not have the vouchers, but I have the information with the phone number and the idea of what they can purchase. They can purchase fresh fruits and vegetables, honey, and fresh cut herbs. But they can.
And this is a new program, or you just last
this
year?
is our third year.
Third year.
Third year.
So
they started it in probably June, July of 2021. We had a full year last year, and we'll have a full year this year.
So
full season.
The Council on Aging gives them a voucher, and then they bring the voucher to you to get the coins?
What happens with that program is a little bit different.
Okay.
They have paper vouchers. Each voucher is worth $5. So they have a total of 10 vouchers, and they can spend that at the vendor. With that program, they do not get change. So if they go up to, let's say, Mindy and Bob Henson, they're going to work with them to purchase $5 worth of product, because they cannot give them $3. I want to buy $2 of tomatoes. They cannot give them $3 back. So maybe they're tomatoes, maybe it's cucumbers, maybe it's peppers. So they can spend that $5.
And then the vendor then takes that
The
to
vendor
you
then takes
and you
that
give
to
them
me,
cash.
and there's a whole process
Oh, sure.
that we have to go through. We have to log it in. We pay the vendor whatever amount they turn into us. Every dollar that is spent with a vendor using credit tokens, using our EBT tokens, using any of our special vouchers, all of that goes right back to the vendor. They turn it into us. We then log it in, process a check, and they get a check. And then we handle all the dealings with the state or with the Council on Aging.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Reimbursed. Well, there's timetables. You got to submit it at certain times.
Oh, wow.
And so the bank is basically empty until we submit those to the state. We don't get paid until those vouchers go in for WIC and for Council on Aging. So we also have a partnership with WIC, Women, Infant, and Children through Clinton County. They distribute vouchers. Again, they get their vouchers through the state. Mothers can come in and purchase fruits and vegetables and fresh herbs with their vouchers. And again, the same process.
Do the vendors get paid that same day, or do the vendors are waiting on you to get paid?
They're waiting. No, they're going to get paid within 2 weeks. They will turn in all of their tokens.
Yeah.
We'll log those in. That's processed. I have nothing to do with the finances as far as writing the check, but the checks are written, and then they get the check with it no more than 2 weeks.
From you, or from from WIC?
Me.
Oh, okay.
Well, from ECC.
The Energized Clinton County?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Under the farm market account.
Gotcha. Okay. So I saw on the website that you guys have opportunities for sponsors too.
Yes, we do. And we've been very fortunate. We've, as I said, everything that the market is not for profit. The only thing that we do is we do charge the vendors a fee. And for that fee, they're getting a venue where they're getting all the social media, they're getting the activities. That fee, helps cover a little bit of printing cost and the cost that it takes to run the market, but it's not enough to actually support everything that we want to do. So we have the scholarship or the grants from Health First that helps with our programming, but other items need sponsorship from local businesses or individuals. And this year we have Clinton County Convention and Visitors Bureau sponsoring us. We have Real Roots Radio out of Xenia sponsoring us. We have the Clinton County Foundation, Clinton Memorial Hospital, Engel and Martin Attorneys at Law. We have First State Bank, Merchants National Bank, New Life Clinic, Walnut Ridge Acres, Lumberton General Store, and Orange Fraser Press are our sponsors at this time. We're always willing to accept new sponsors. Those sponsors get their names on a banner and on our website and on our literature, and we depend on them a lot.
And to be a sponsor, you just go to the website and contact.
Go to the website, and there's a form there to fill out. There's different levels: 18, 24, 48 karat.
Nice.
And it's carat, C-A-R-R-O-T.
Right. The orange kind of carrot. Okay, so what are some community maybe misconceptions or criticisms about the market over the past couple of years?
You know, we really don't hear complaints. I think one of the complaints, the market opens 8:30 to noon. So Saturday mornings is the day for folks to sleep in. So they may be coming at 11:30, and then, the vendors don't have a lot to choose from. So that's probably one complaint that we heard. And I actually heard that on Wednesday when I was at the job fair and community resource. A lady came up and we were sharing information. She said, I work Friday night, and so I'm sleeping in on Saturday morning to get ready to go back to work. So we know that's a difficult situation. And I don't know that we would ever find a good time.
Perfect time, yeah. You're not going to find a perfect time.
If you did it in the afternoon, folks are wanting to have more family time.
Sure.
A lot of folks like to get out, get their shopping done, get their errands ran, and then go do family time. So if you look around, Saturday mornings are not an uncommon time for markets. You'll find some that maybe do it a Thursday evening or a Sunday afternoon, but Saturdays is a very common time. So that's probably one complaint. Last year, because we had no sweet corn because of the season, we had complaints about you have no sweet corn. And it was like, there are some things that are totally out of our control. And it's not that we didn't have any, it was just more limited.
Mm-hmm. Last year, the Corn Fest ran out of corn too. Is that related at all or no?
Who ran out of corn?
The Corn Fest.
I'm sure it did. Yeah, if you think about what the spring was last year, we had these downpours that were 5 inches and crops got flooded out and people would replant and it would get flooded out again. And it just was not a good year for corns and other crops. There were a lot of the crops that were later. And when I say crops, the vegetables, they were later. This year, we've had not so much rain, but we've had cooler temperatures, and it's been very difficult. So, they're all dependent, as all farmers are, on what Mother Nature's throwing at them. Unless they have a hoop house or maybe a greenhouse and their gardens are out in the open, it's just difficult. And not everybody realizes that, and that's part of the education that we have to do at the market.
Yeah.
You can't go to Kroger's. I mean, you could go to Kroger's and you can get everything, but look at where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's not local. It's probably been sitting on a truck for a couple of weeks. It probably is not ripe.
Right.
And so if you really want fresh produce and products, farm market's the best place to buy it, whether it's ours or any other one that you might go to.
Yeah. What are some areas of improvement that you have made since you've been there or looking to make in the next few years?
Well, we did a survey a few years ago and people wanted coffee. So we've been trying to have coffee at that early morning coffee, was important to folks.
You got a coffee truck now, right?
We have a coffee truck. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The drip. Becky Ferguson out of Martinsville. Kava House has built in for us. And when Becky can't be there, we'll sometimes go down and get coffee from Kava House and bring it up and have it by donation. So coffee was one thing. They would like more vendors, but recruiting vendors is very difficult. We have rules and regulations that we have established, and they're not rules and regulations that we've just pulled out of the air. We want the market to have integrity. We want to meet the standards of the Ohio Department of Health and the Ohio Department of Agriculture. So we have things such as, if you're going to bring meat to the market to sell, you have to have a mobile retail license. Your equipment has to be inspected by the health department. You have to have your animal inspected. It has to be USDA inspected. It has to be butchered at a facility that is approved. And the labeling has to be appropriate. So if you bake cookies, there's a requirement of labeling through the Ohio Department of Agriculture. So there's a lot of things just sometimes to meet that people don't want to deal with. And it's a lot of work if you're gardening. And it's a risk if you're gardening or you're farming. Will you have enough product to bring? Will you have a quality product? Will the birds get into your corn and destroy the crop that you thought you were bringing that day to the market?
Yeah. And
so more vendors, we would love more vendors, but again, they're not easy to recruit.
Mm-hmm. And you got to get up for Saturday morning too.
You got to get up every Saturday morning.
Yikes.
And probably every Friday evening. You know, our corn vendors, I seem to be picking on them, but they're out harvesting their crop early in the morning before they get to the market.
Mm-hmm.
So they may be out there when the sun's just coming up harvesting corn. That's when it's fresh.
Yeah. I always think of like Wilmington has not enough places to eat, it seems like, or like restaurants. People are always asking for more restaurants. And I think of like, oh, it'd be cool to have this or that restaurant. But it's like, do I really want to do that job? So I can see like vendors, like, yeah, everyone wants those things, but who's willing to do the work to make them happen, you know?
Mm-hmm. I had someone say to me one time, you don't have any green beans. Green beans is labor intensive.
Mm-hmm.
If you pick it and, you know, when they're ready, they're ready. And so there isn't a lot of thought given into what does it take for those vendors to come to the market.
Yeah.
It's more than just showing up Saturday morning.
Yeah.
They're working all week.
So the market, I imagine, is a lot of work for you and for volunteers. So why do you do it for? What's your motivation and why do you stay disciplined to make it happen every week?
It has become a passion. I fell in love with the market when I started helping Desi and helping Becca, and I was thrilled when I was asked to start co-managing. And then when Katie's life situations changed and she was having babies and job changes, and I became full-time manager, it's just a passion. It's a passion to see these kids come to the market and want to come to the market. It's a passion when I see kids growing up and still wanting to come to the market when they're 12 and 13 and 14. And to know that maybe we're making a difference in somebody's life. When you think of the elders that live in the low-income housing, this may be one of their only social outings because they don't own a vehicle. And they may not be able to afford the cab from Blanchester. And so at least once a month, they can look forward to coming and sitting and listening to some music and maybe being able to buy a cup of coffee and sit and eat. We'll even let them do a kids craft if they want to do a kids craft, just to socialize. And community, being part of a community, to me is very important. And I get that feel when I'm at the market. I see people I know. I've met people. I've met lovely people. I've met people that I may not know their name, but I've seen in the grocery store. They speak to me and I speak to them. And so it's just a passion. And I'm reaching an age, and it's not that I'm old, but, you know, we all have to think about transitioning. And I know that someone needs to be stepping into my shoes. And I'm not sure I'm ready to totally let go. I've even said that find a manager and I'll be an assistant, and then I can be a consultant to help with making plans and making contacts. So why do I do it? I love it.
Well, thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
To help our community and help people have awesome social experiences at least once a month. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, that was it for our podcast today, folks. Hope you enjoyed hearing from Sally Buchanan with the Clinton County Farmers Market. Again, we are a community of empowered individuals. So if you have more questions for her, or questions that I didn't ask or that you would ask differently, please feel free to reach out to her. She's super friendly. I'd love to talk with you. I remember Emily and I are just two dorks with a podcast, so you are welcome to talk to people directly and get your questions answered. Emily, any closing thoughts?
Just remember to follow both the Farmers Market and Real Change Wilmington on social media. You can find them under Clinton County Farmers Market, and you can find us under Real Change Wilmington.
Great. So with that, I'm your host, Dustin Pierce.
And I'm your co-host, Emily Spencer.
Keep it real, Wilmington.